welcome back, guys, to the second instalment of the Mark Tuxford and Jim Magilton interview, in which Mark obviously speaks with Jim about his life leading up to football, playing for Ipswich, going into management, and where he is now. Hopefully you enjoy part two. Stick with it, and we'll catch up with you after.
You can't even catch your breath. So he puts one in and I'm going, oh my goodness. And then again, they've seen it. They're seeing it out. They're trying to see the game out. They're, again, lots of experience in their team. Usually ask Elaine, and they're just really, really good players. Really, really good team. So they're seeing it out. And then last ditch, we missed chances. And then last ditch, Vino gets it. I know Vino's going to be accurate. I'm loving the look. I see Mugga peeling off. I'm thinking, I'm going to grab a half a yard. The knockdown, it's unbelievable knockdown from Tony. So touch, boom, goal, put him on the ropes. Then I'm thinking, we've got to get to Wembley here. We've got to get him. And the wave of emotion, the huge noise, you never forget that noise within the ground. We get through extra time, we win the game, and I'm just, honestly, I'm just brutally focused on Wembley. I'm thinking, I want to play, of course I want to play at Wembley. Every boy who dreamed to play at Wembley. But more importantly, to win. The amount of stories you hear of players retelling stories about losing at Wembley. Well, you don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose a game at Wembley. You just do not want. So my focus was totally on winning the game. But a nice little story aside of that was the next day. So the next day I go to Portman Road. I'm carrying a knock. And the queue's out the door. The queue is out, the gates. So I get out, and to a man, I get a round of applause.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Were you?
Yeah.
I tell you, I was just emotional. I was just brilliant. I was just fabulous. I speak about that more than I speak about anything else. And I speak about Wembley when I looked up, and that was just tremendous. That was just a lovely, lovely gesture from supporters. And I remember that. And then obviously the build-up and winning at Wembley is huge. So the whole Wembley day was just phenomenal. And when I look back at the game, Barnsley were unlucky. Barnsley played so well. Yeah. There were moments in the game, Richard ready save. Other moments in the game that Kenaway swung in our favour. And listen, maybe it was written in the stars. Maybe it was our day. And obviously it was our day. And getting promoted, winning at Wembley, the sea of blue, never ever forget, that sea of blue. The wonderful, gracious ovations we got individually and collectively. And listen, we're back in the Premier League. I'm back in the Premier League. I can't wait to get started. I was going to celebrate. I was going to have 2 or 3 weeks of absolute mayhem and carnage, right? But then focus, get myself ready, get myself flying fit, and get back in the Premier League.
So what was it? Obviously, well, in terms of pre the sort of playoff game, it was obviously a very nervy time for you and the rest of the players and the management and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You have the game, and that probably goes like an absolute whirlwind.
Yeah.
Then after the game, you have a little bit of a celebration and stuff like that. But how long does that? I don't know, in terms of getting over that sort of thing. Having that elation of winning the playoff final, and then in a few months, you've got the start of the new Premier League season. So what is that like in that time period, from as soon as you get that field at Wembley until you get on the first game of the Premier League?
Oh, listen, you ride that wave of emotion. I was living down in Ipswich, obviously in it, and you're riding that, because all them's talking about is the Premier League fixtures. That's all people are talking about. Yeah. So whilst there's packs on the back, and it was great, and it was a long time coming, and there was a 5-year plan, etc. You make your 5-year plan, done. What's the next plan? Stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's it. Survive. Don't even think about anything else. Survive. So reality bites. As soon as the fixtures come out, boom. And again, another going back to Wembley. Like, I remember the steps. Obviously, I remember seeing my dad, and I looked at my dad, and the smile on. I'm a brother. I'm a mate. And that huge wave of emotion was, everything. Thinking back to my dad, thinking about everything he'd ever said to me. The dad's at Wembley. He's seeing his son lift a trophy, albeit in a playoff final. And I could see how emotional he was about it, right? And that was a moment that lasts forever. For me, and that was great. But again, the reality dates when you see the fixtures, mate.
Yeah.
Spurs away, right? Manchester United at home. Who was the next one? Sunderland at home, I think, or was it Sunderland at home? I think it was, yeah. And you know, it was reality is White Hart Lane, opening fixture, Premier League. Bet your bottom dollar, it's going to be 100 degrees, right? Which it was, and packed out White Hart Lane, and I loved White Hart Lane. It was one of my favourite grounds, still is. Well, it's not mine, but to play and a crowd that appreciated football and footballers, oh, dream come true. And again, the reality of that is we take an early lead, and then you see the level. You're looking at the level of player, and that hit home. And I don't think, you know, I think on the journey home, the reality of the situation, listen, players aren't daft. They're thinking, oh, this could be a long season. This might be a long season. Now, you know, we weren't expected to win the game. Let's be honest. Opening day, Spurs v Ipswich, home win. Now, we did okay, don't get me wrong. I knew technically we had enough players that could handle the ball. Always my biggest worry was, can we handle opposition's forward defensively as a group, not just our defenders, because of the quality you're playing against. You're at another level, another stratosphere. So on that day, there was a harsh reality, but that was fine. It was the opening game. Manchester United, another tough ask. But again, you talk about that emotion. Well, when we're sitting in the tunnel, standing in the tunnel, there was a recreation of that night at Bolton, again generated by the fans. Manchester United opening home fixture, fireworks, everything. I remember Teddy Sheringham going, "What's this all about?" You know, because yeah, fireworks. Let's hope that's the end of them. You know, so reality again. You're playing against the best players. Your best players. That United team on the night was some team. We were brilliant. So we rose to the occasion.
What was the secret then? So if you're saying that obviously you had the different level from Division 1 when it was then to the Premier League. So what was the success, and obviously having those first couple of games where you thought, okay, this is a different level, but we then go on to be quite a successful side of that season, and obviously
unbelievably successful. Let's be honest.
So, I mean, you know, it was a shame that we obviously didn't get the Champions League, but in terms of, you know, that level of being a Division 1 side, probably 6 months ago, and now a Premier League side, with some, you know, little additions here and there. But what was the secret? What was the?
We had technically good players. We had footballers who could handle the ball, so we didn't give the ball away cheaply. And there was a recognition then from the opposition. If an opposition feel that they can take the ball off you, they're going to press the living daylights of you, and they're going to think you're rubbish. Yeah. What we had to prove was that we could all play, and we all had the confidence to play. Yeah. So I never had any doubts with the technical ability of the team or the athleticism in the team. I knew we'd be fit. I knew we could handle the physicality, and I knew technically we would surprise a lot of people. And I think we took them by surprise. And again, at Manchester United, no matter when you play Manchester United, they'll give you a chance to play. Now, if you can't play, they'll just snuff you out. Yeah. They'll just stand all over you. But if you can play, right, they'll let you play to a point, right? On that night, and it was early on, and don't forget, it was the second game, so everyone's still getting their match fitness. So it was a good time to play them, as we soon proved, because we went to Old Trafford, they were magnificent. Yeah. You know, 2-0 flattered us probably. You know, and they just had top players. So on that night, we were a match for them, right? And we played extremely well. We were well organised defensively, right? We had a good shape, and we were excellent with the ball. And that comes down to the manager. And his consistent messages, his consistency in training, and the level and intensity we trained at, I knew we were more than capable of at least surviving in the Premier League. Because that had to be the priority.
Yeah. So obviously the priority was obviously survival, but then you went a few more steps forward by obviously getting the European place and stuff like that. So obviously having that season before in the playoffs and having that playoff elation, and then, you know, at the end of that season having confirmation that you've got European football. What was that like?
Incredible confirmation that we had a team that were more than capable, right? Tactically, we were spot on. We could change shape. We had adaptability in the team. We had a lot of flexibility. Herman could play up and down the left-hand side. He could also play left side centre half. We had players that could combine in midfield. We had choices up front, and it was kind of a really well-balanced outfit. And I think the surprise element helped us, and we were just just really confident because the momentum was building. And when you're winning games and you know that you have the opportunity to score goals, we had match winners, so we had the opportunity to create opportunities, and we could deal with that pressure. Because every week's pressure, going away games are that's pressure. You got to be able to deal with that. You got to be strong enough to take the ball. You got to have the confidence and the self-belief to take the ball. And when you're winning games, that's easier. When you're losing games and that momentum slips like it was the year after, very difficult to recreate that. Very, very difficult to return to that level. Yeah. And so we wallowed in that. We loved that. I seen it as confirmation. I'm back in the Premier League, and I loved it. And I had a good year, a really good season, and I really enjoyed it. And again, going away that summer, I was loving it. But the reality bites. You got to get ready again. Yeah. You got to get ready again. And that was important. So again, the reflection of, well done, fantastic, pats in the back. Yeah, absolutely, boom, done. Let's get back to reality. Let's get back now to second seasonitis. Let's clear that myth, get that myth away, bury it, and let's go again. And unfortunately, we couldn't.
So that second season, having playing in Europe and obviously trying to stay in the Premier League as well as sort of trying to do two things at once, essentially. But yeah, it must have been quite bittersweet for you personally in a way, because obviously you're playing that level of football against teams like Inter Milan.
Yeah,
players like Vieri and Ronaldo and that sort of stuff. So, how can you sum up that season? I suppose that was a season where in the Premier League you didn't actually play a lot due to injury.
Yeah.
So, how can you sum up that season for yourself personally?
Oh, huge disappointment, mate. Yeah. Huge disappointment. It was, I sat and watched the last handful of games, last 10 games, and I sat there and I was just completely devastated because one, I couldn't have an input, right, and I couldn't change things, and I sat and watched us, and it was, very despairing, and everything that everyone had worked for and worked to, the amount of hard work behind the scenes, the chairman, everybody, the collective, you're watching it and you watch it disappear in front of your eyes. You can't do anything about it. There's that uselessness thing about that. You think, oh, why? But the whys were, again, we got ourselves into a fantastic position, then blew it. We got ourselves into a position where we should have maintained, we should have stayed solid, and we didn't. And momentum, again, the other side of that can really be debilitating, and it proved to be the point. We couldn't pick it up again as much as the players tried. Players tried extremely hard. There wasn't a problem with attitude. There wasn't a problem with application. Just, in the end, we were just good enough. And that was from a season where we proved we were to that. It's incredible. It's incredible football, and it makes fools of us all. And unfortunately, we couldn't maintain Premier League status, and that was a huge disappointment.
So you couldn't pinpoint, I don't know, anything specific that was kind of from the first season in the Premier League to the second season in the Premier League. I mean, there's obviously been rumours about sort of players coming in that weren't the right fit. And obviously the European, in a way, football didn't really help.
No.
In terms of trying to keep us in the Premier League, but you wouldn't say there wasn't a specific point.
No, I wouldn't, Mark, because people have made a song and dance out of that. No, the lads that came in were good lads.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whatever they were being paid, they were being paid. That is none of our business. That is a personal thing. So I never got in. It never bothered me in the least. Finidi was a good lad. Matteo was a good lad. I never felt Sixto was a good lad. Peralta was a really good lad. They were all good lads and footballers. And we had a really cohesive unit. And if they hadn't been good lads, they'd have soon been told,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They'd have soon been told, because we had good characters, and a really good camaraderie within the group. Listen, when you're losing games of football, you don't want to be near the ground. You don't want to be near. You just want to, because there's the amount of speculation, the amount of social media interest, it can be debilitating again. I keep using that word because some players can't respond to that.
Mm.
It depends on your character. And if you're listening to all the crap that's going out there and you let that in, right, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Your only focus should be the game, your opposition, their strengths and weaknesses, your strengths and weaknesses. How can we win the game? And to be fair to George, that's what he always concentrated on. So the focus and the concentration, again, his consistency and his message didn't change. Just in the games, we were either touch unlucky, or we were really poor, or there was a lack of confidence. Things that were happening so naturally a year before wasn't. People were taking a split second longer. That's the game. That's the fragility of sport, and that's the fragility of confidence. But again, it comes down to you personally. If you can't handle it, then you're going to get exposed. And there's no worse place to get exposed than in the Premier League, because it's highlighted every flipping week. Yeah. You're getting scrutinised every week, and we couldn't handle it in the end.
Yeah. So that obviously brings us up to the year 2002, and obviously, unfortunately, we was relegated. But what could you sum up from 2002 until probably the time that you retired from your sort of playing days in Ipswich? And obviously, you had the 2004-2005 season where we nearly went up and played semi-finals against West Ham.
Yeah.
So, how can you explain that kind of era for yourself personally?
Yeah, personally, for me, George more or less said it could go. I didn't want to go, but he said go. I wasn't really in a place to go. I didn't want to go. I wanted again to help the club get out of the situation. Facing, where we were in terms of administration and all that was difficult. It was a difficult time for everyone. And even the stand, even building the stand, that was a huge, that had a huge impact on us too.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was going out of the ground. We relied on that connection with the supporters.
Yeah.
So so I'm not making any excuses. I'm not, right, because that's not my thing.
These little things add up though, don't they? That's the thing.
Yeah. So there was a lot of highs and even worse lows. And the last season, Joe's last season, who I have a fantastic amount of respect for, both George and Joe had a massive impact on my playing career. And privately, Joe was huge for me, because I wouldn't have been easy to manage towards the end in terms of, I knew I was retiring and he'd been there as George had been. But Joe was my manager, and managing me to that end was huge. And he did it with grace, and he did it so respectfully, and that was great. And I loved that about it. And up to the last game, there was sadness more than, I loved it, but there was huge sadness because we hadn't returned to the Premier League. And I was leaving the club. I wasn't sure where we were leaving the club. That was the other thing. And nor was Joe. Joe knew we needed, you can't lose the players and recreate the wheel. He worked miracles. We went to 2 playoffs. Yeah. We should have been promoted the year we were 5 points clear Christmas or whatever it was. So huge disappointment. You can't get away from that. So, and regret and sadness, but also understanding that I'd had this wonderful relationship with the fans, wonderful relationship with the players, and had a fantastic time at the club and played some really good football, personally and collectively. So, no, I left everything out there. I couldn't have done any more, I don't think. And that was always hugely important to me. So when you look yourself in the mirror, it's the fella staring back at you sort of thing. And, and I couldn't have, I don't think I could have done any more, which was hugely satisfactory for me.
Yeah, well, personally, I think the Ipswich fans obviously realised that as well. The effort that you brought to the club, and that you played as well, and then obviously trying to help other, whether it be youngsters or just fellow professionals, just trying to do that. We could see that. But I suppose from when it comes to retirement for you, was it obviously you made the decision to leave Ipswich, or was going to leave Ipswich? Mm-hmm. Was that retirement from Ipswich, or was that retirement from football full stop?
No, that was leaving Ipswich. That was just leaving Ipswich, and knowing that you're handing over the reins to Garvin. Garvin was going to be a really good player.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Owen fulfilled his real potential. He was a really good. He should have played longer. He should have played at the higher levels and didn't. But knowing when I left, we had another player that was going to come in and really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Him and Jimmy were forming a fantastic partnership too. Jimmy was another really good player and another brilliant lad. Yeah. So they were more than capable. If you could hold on to Jimmy, you were still having half a chance. But again, finances, really restricted that for Joe. And no, I was leaving. We had our house in Ainsdale, and we were leaving, and that was it. And we were going to go, and I was going to get a job, coaching, player coach, player managing, whatever. Turned down the opportunity to be an assistant manager at Oxford during that season, in a playing capacity as well. So I knew there would be opportunities for me out there. There were 1 or 2 things lined up in the Northwest, which again, as you know, is a hotbed of football. Joe was going to be very helpful in that too, recommendations from Joe. But no, there was half an eye on retirement because, again, I felt great. Physically, I knew I'd have to make sure I was right pre-season again. And pre-seasons, listen, as you get older, they don't get any easier. Let's be honest, But I always loved the grind of pre-season. I always came into my own. I loved that. But it was kind of way next stage. And I was always planning. I always think it's a waste for a player if he's had 20 years in the game and he's been influenced by so many top-class coaches and managers, not to use that. So I used to have this books and books of coaches and coaching drills and little things that influenced me, kept a note of it, and thought, okay, well, I'm going to do my coaching badges now. I'm obviously going to go. I was working with the IFA along the coaching ladder, and I just thought the opportunity to really go and develop myself as a coach, influencing others, staying in the game, that was always going to be the next step for me, and it came sooner rather than later. So
obviously, touching upon that, then taking your first steps into management, albeit very early sort of steps. But what was your sort of feeling towards that from being a player within those walls of the changing room and on the pitch with, what were your mates, to then managing them, and a club of the size of Ipswich? What was that like?
To say the club that didn't intimidate me again. I felt very, very much at home. Listen, I understood the history of the football club.
Yeah.
I was very much, entwined in that. You don't be a part of it at a club for that amount of time and not understand what it means to ex-players, to fans, to the wider football community. I understood there was 2 ex-England managers. One had won a World Cup, one had taken a semi-final, and both are absolutely living legends, are legends of the game. So, listen, that inspired me. I wasn't daunted by that. And I knew I'd have support. I knew I'd have some sort of time, lead-in time. Not enough, but enough time. I knew that I was hoping that there would be patience. I knew that I knew the game, but I also needed a lot of help. And that help came from building a backroom team, and also knowing that there was potentially a new owner going to come in. That was always going to be bandied about. The club didn't hide the fact that they were looking for investors. Yeah. That was common knowledge. So it was very difficult because it was more difficult for the players. In my mind, I'd already kind of switched to that role, and I was ready in myself. I was prepared mentally for it. Players weren't. And that's understandable. So I try to have clear lines of communication. I was helped by Jason DeVos, who was an outstanding captain. I brought him into meetings. I talked a lot to him. Listen, that transformation from player to manager is very difficult. I've talked about it lots of times. So there were a lot of stumbling blocks along the way. There's no question. But in terms of relations with players, I tried to maintain good communication. It was up to the players found it more difficult, right? And they didn't know how to take it. And it took a little bit of time for them to come to terms with that. That was fine. I was very patient in terms of that. But listen, you're dealing with it on the job, and the hectic schedule of the championship. Game. So, and it was again very quick turnover for me. Getting pre-season sorted, getting players in, making sure that the plan was in place. That took a little bit of time. Delegation of duties. communication with staff that Joe had. Joe ran a football club blindfolded, as George did. And I had a fantastic PA who looked after me. But again, I had to not impose myself, but my personality and stamp over the football club as a manager had to change. So that was going to take time. And the kind of way, when you're in the job, you're trying to work 24/7. You're working around the clock, and you're thinking, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm sitting there now going, my God, the crazy things that I did. You know, my job was about performances, was making sure the players were ready for the games. That's all my focus. I was trying to do all things and be all things and show this and do this and do it. Now looking back, after year one, better manager. Year two, better manager. Even though that, you know, there was huge changes taking place and Marcus coming in and everything else around the football club, expectation levels raised, all of that. Year two, better manager. Year three, even better manager. Because you're becoming more experienced in the role. You're more comfortable in the role. But again, the expectations rose to a level where, you know, it was kind of like everything was automatic. He's doing this. He's got this. He's the new owner. Board gone. You know, me and Marcus. And I had a fantastic amount of respect for Marcus. Still do. Yeah. And a really good relationship with him. But he wanted to go on a different tangent. And I understood that. And that was fine. And he brought in what he perceived to be his man. And that, again, was fine. The manner in which he did it, it left a sour taste. But again, timing in football, he didn't know that my mum wasn't going to be well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He just made the timing. I thought it wasn't the right time to do it, but he thought differently. And that's fine. Do you know, and that's all in the past. And what I learned from the game and learned from that experience was unbelievable. And it was a great learning curve for me. And it was something that I will cherish, you know, and look back on with great memories, fondness.
So if there was one word to probably describe your management time at Ipswich, what do you think that word would be?
Short. Not enough. Yeah. I think people grew impatient. Yeah. I knew where we were heading. I had a plan. 10 years at the club, nearly 11 years at the club had come to an end, and quite abruptly. And it was in a manner not befitting the club in any way, shape, or form. Because, you know, my respect for the club and how they ran and done their business was always in the highest regard. And as I said, it must have been a question of time. Because knowing Marcus, as limited as I did, I don't think he planned it that way, but there was lots that happened in the build-up and a lot happened during it that wasn't good. But as I say, that was a long time ago, and I have nothing but, you know, great memories of the football club, you know, and I owe the club so much. Get me back on track, give me my first opportunity in management. So all that thing, I'll always have a connection with the football club. It'll always mean the world to me. So that won't change. That will never change. And really, you know, that was the end of it. And then I got another opportunity at Queen's Park Rangers. Probably jumped in too quickly because I had a really good reputation growing as a young manager in the game. And my teams were trying to play attractive football. We were trying to win games of football. And I was developing my stay, if you like. And I was enjoying the role. Believe it or not, I was enjoying being a manager. I felt it was a natural progression for me. And again, things didn't work out at Queen's Park Rangers. And then I managed to get time. I managed to actually take a breather, spend time with the kids, and deal with family for the first time since I was 16. And that was, again, a wonderful time to be there and to be a part of it. And unfortunately, my mum passed away. And that was, you know, that was a huge loss to us all. You know, your mum's the glue that keep you all together. So that, dealing with that, but taking time out, really, and just really focusing and refocusing, looking at what worked for me, what didn't work, what changes I would have made, if any, you know, and trying to be better. And then going and exploring and going and, you know, working with Magilton, the Champion Rovers. Then going to interviewing for the Northern Ireland job, going to Australia, going to Qatar. Again, just continuous professional development for me and continuously looking at the game, watching how top-class managers were working, elite sports teams were working, elite development was progressing, youth development in Qatar, the Aspire Academy. So there was so much else going on for me. And in that time, I was really enjoying, where I was going in it. And we all know, listen, the longer you're out of it, the less opportunities that come your way. And then I have an opportunity to go back in. I didn't take it. Just didn't feel right. Back into a very good side, a very good club. I didn't take it. I wanted to continue my work with the IFA, developing elite young footballers and working in coach education. And that's been the last 5.5, 6 years of my life. So I've loved it. I've really loved it. And I've definitely grown, and I've definitely, I'm better for it, that experience. So, no, I'm in a good place at the minute, and I'm looking for opportunities. In football, if you rest on your laurels, you get caught up and people overtake you. And what I have found in football is that timing is so important. And if it's something comes up, you should really go and grasp the opportunity whilst it still exists. So, no, I have had a wonderful time within the game, and I'm still loving it, and I'm still so grateful for it, for giving me the opportunities that it's given me. And I've developed, fantastic relationships with so many people, and long may that continue.
So you obviously touched upon a little bit there, your time at QPR. So from probably leaving there and the type of manager you were then, what's probably changed from when you were there? And if you've got to say a job tomorrow, what do you think would be different?
Just experience. I think life's experiences. I think you as a person, if you're the same person as you, even at 20 as you are at 50, then you've wasted 30 years of your life. I think Muhammad Ali or something said that, or someone, but they're right. So even like from 40 in your 40s to 50, if you haven't learned from life's experiences and your own personal experiences and your own professional experiences, then you're wasting time. Yeah. So I would be very much more at home, given the experiences. I've had to feel very much more relaxed because I've experienced it. I know exactly how I would go about my business. I think the business now is about communication. It's about relationships. It's about developing relationships with your players and your staff, and then getting everybody switched on to their goal. And whatever that goal is, and whatever your trigger is, I've got to find out yours. I've got to find out each individual, both staff and player, and just developing that relationship and being very relaxed. Obviously, with the eye on intensity and good habits and standards. I've always been driven by standards. I was blessed, as I said, at Liverpool. High standards. Don't drop beneath them. Take personal responsibility each day to deliver those standards, because you will be judged on a Saturday the moment you cross the white line, as I will be judged. So together we can, if we raise the standards, then and listen, football variables, you just don't know what's going to happen on any given day. But as long as we're on that same page, then I think we're doing it. We're doing it right.
So from that last managerial role that you had, do you think it was beneficial to have that time and space from the game a little bit, and then obviously getting back to it with the Northern Ireland set up now?
Yeah, totally. Because you take time out. Sometimes when you're in that pressure cooker situation, you don't see it. You need to step back, and you need to be able to analyse, and you need to be able to reflect, and then come back stronger. Learn from the experiences. Don't shy away from the experiences. You can't, because it's all part of your learning curve. And as long as you learn from it, then it's a worthwhile experience. And that's kind of how I've gone about each stage of my playing career and managerial career and coaching role and director's role within the association. Learning every day, setting good standards, setting good practices, and then moving on. Mark, it's just the nature of our game, and hopefully doing things with honesty and integrity and loyalty and getting that in return. And I've, as I say, I've enjoyed my role immensely. I've worked with Michael, I've worked with the 21s, I've worked with the 19s, 17s, 16s, right down to 13s, and I take great enjoyment out of that. And we've set up a full-time academy now with UEFA in Northern Ireland, hopefully with the intention of focusing these boys on a life in football, which I never had that prior to leaving, so hopefully it stands in good stead.
So looking back on that kind of your sort of career and sort of playing days and managerial sort of time as well, obviously now being Northern Ireland, sort of doing stuff with the academy and stuff like that, is the next step for you now the national team manager, the first team manager?
Listen, the job's up for grabs, and and a very respected journalist who I've known 25 years asked me the question. I said, of course I would want the job. I wanted the job at some stage when I was managing Ipswich, and I was asked. I didn't feel I had the experience, because I hadn't endured all things that were going to happen, all things that happen to a manager in club football. So international football, I would imagine, is totally different, and it is totally different, albeit you're still dealing with players. Yeah. But I feel as if that I am better equipped, again, just through personal experiences and professional experiences, and I feel and felt that given the opportunity, I could do the job. There's no question. And also highly respectful of the other candidates who are currently working, who have got fantastic reputations, who would make really good international managers. And what Michael has done is nothing short of miraculous and incredible. And he leaves the association and the team in a really good place. And the players, again, deserve immense credit, because they've done a great job in putting Northern Ireland, if you like, back on the footballing map. So it goes hand in hand. Good manager, good players, great combination. They've qualified for a major tournament. We've narrowly missed out on another, and now we get an opportunity to potentially qualify for another major tournament. So it's very exciting times.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Hopefully they get it, and hopefully you get an opportunity maybe in the future to become the manager.
Yeah.
But so obviously looking back on that career then of yours, from sort of a player to manager, if there was probably one moment that was your, I don't know, the best moment and probably the worst moment of your career, what would you say?
Worst, definitely relegation. Sitting in the stand at Anfield losing and knowing that you're relegated. And that was devastating. Okay, that was really devastating because of all the work and the effort by everybody, the collective. And that was hugely disappointing. And nobody wants that on their CV. And that was, probably the low point. The high point is obviously playing in the Premier League with Southampton, getting that opportunity. Listen, first of all, going to Liverpool, making my debut for Northern Ireland. There's that many, mate. It's very difficult to put name one. Yeah. But these highs are all on that sort of level, do you know what I mean? So, and then obviously winning the playoff final at Wembley, a dream come true. The first season back in the Premier League with Ipswich, dream come true. So there's so many highs, and I've just, do you know what? It's the relationships you form and forge in football too. It's an incredible fraternity, because it's 20 years since the playoff, and I was so looking forward to seeing everyone again. Because I know the moment you walk in, the moment we'd have walked in and together, it would have been exactly the same. A lot older, a lot more grey hairs, but exactly the same. And that is the remarkable thing about football and changing rooms. It's the highs and lows, it's the emotional roller coaster, and it's the camaraderie that you form. That is the incredible aspect of the job that nobody really sees. I think they all understand that, but I was really looking forward to seeing everybody again, and that is a pleasing perspective for us as players to get into that, and the banter would have been flying. There would have been no mercy, and that would have been great. And reflecting on that, it's a highlight of your career, because it's just the friendships you forge, and that's so important. And especially now at this difficult time, we're all going through such a tough time, and this self-isolation. And I think as a footballer, you're better prepared for it, because as a footballer, you were brutally selfish, and you were used to boredom, and you were trying to focus on each game as it comes. You were a lot of travelling and a lot of isolation in hotels and a lot of thinking time. So I think I'm better prepared than most, and I think most footballers maybe agree with that. So this is a very difficult time for everybody, and we're all dealing with it in our own way. So yeah, I think it's just I've enjoyed every second of it, mate, and I continue to enjoy it.
So sort of favourite team you've played in, and sort of favourite manager you've played under?
Again, it's a difficult one. I enjoyed my time at Liverpool with all the coaches there. Brian Horton gave me that first chance. George gave me another opportunity. Joe finishing my career. In between that, I had Graham Souness, I had David Plate, I had Alan Ball. I had a lot of Dave Jones. I had a lot of good managers. So appreciative of all. I think that it's a tough one to just name one, and I don't particularly want to name one because I think they all had a massive impact in my life and in my career. So it would be unfair.
Yeah.
What was the other question? Sorry, on that.
So, favourite team that you saw?
Oh, listen, that's again a difficult one. It really is. You know, I think obviously there was huge pride with that team going back into the Premier League. You know, and the manner in which we played, and not changing our principles, and the football that we played, and the entertainment we brought. We forget this here. This is the entertainment business. You're here to entertain.
Yeah.
Albeit there's that serious aspect, but the play and the manner, you know, it fitted my profile perfectly. I had loads of energy around me, loads of good footballers. We played in a certain way. I fitted into that brand of football. I fitted in with that group. You know, it was a lovely fit for me, and we all bounced off one another. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't one individual. I just rebounded off them. I hope I set standards, and I hope I drove them on. And they did that to me. I was useless without them. And I am very respectful for all their strengths. And they made me a better player, a better person. And I loved that season. I just loved that season. I just thought this is the way, you know, I would have loved to continue. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
So obviously, now away from football, obviously you're still doing bits with Northern Ireland, but in terms of life away from football now,
no such thing. No such things. 24/7 still. I'm full time. I'm the elite performance director. There's no getting away from it. No getting away from it. It's madness, mate. Honestly, even now, the kids are they're uploading videos. They're working on all. This is the argument. There's no better time to practice. No commitments, school or club. Mums and dads are in the house.
Yeah.
All they need is a football, and all they can train 24 hours if they so wish.
Yeah.
They can improve themselves technically and tactically so much, physically so much. They've been given this unbelievable opportunity in this extraordinary times to improve themselves. I'm still out trying to run 5K. I'm still trying to get a ball out. So there's no layup. There's no let up. Sorry, in this game, you can't. You snooze, you lose.
Mm. So what else are you up to then these days? With obviously a bit of football, but what else?
No, I'm 24/7, mate. Honestly, I'm full time at this academy, full time, flat out, and that's basically it. And I'm just engrossed still in the game, absolutely engrossed in the game. Family are taken care of, so I'm okay. And but it's just madness still, and that's the way I want it. And I love the chaos.
Yeah. So last bit of the interview, really. So, with your kids these days, you know, having their father as, you know, a successful footballer, a successful manager. So, what do they think of their dad? You know, being, you know, the ultimate Jim Magilton.
Listen, my boys, you know, they grew up in it, you know, and they got the lap of honour. They milked it for all it was worth. They loved every second of their upbringing in Ipswich. They feel very much Ipswich is part of their whole upbringing, part of their history. Very proud of it too. Listen, we're very down to earth, very normal, and we're grateful, very grateful for the opportunities. And listen, my boys, if their dad's out and a boy comes up to them, they love it too. Like, but listen, they've been around it that long. It's water off a duck's back now. So the fact that people still remember the good things is great. Do you know what I mean? And again, I say I'm very grateful that people do still come up and have a chat about football. Listen, I could talk all night. And the way you're going, it looks as if we are going to talk all night. But yeah, I can talk all night about it. So my boys are used to it.
So just one last question with sort of with Footy with Dad, with the charity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's with your children now? What does Footy with Dad mean to you guys? You know, your family. What's your?
We're obsessed, Mark. We're obsessed.
Yeah.
We're Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
So we're obsessed. We're enjoying this, albeit, you know, we're enjoying this successful period at the club. Yeah. We love it, you know, and this is really important for us, you know, and we're just hopeful, and we're again very grateful. But we're as excited now. I'm as excited now as I've always been, and my boys are reflective in that too. They're maniacs. They play football socially. They could have done a bit more, both of them, but they play it with their mates. They love it. They're opinionated, as we all are. We all like a bit of banter. We all like a few pints, and we all discuss the game. So listen, that's the other side of it. That's the relaxation side of it. And we're loving it. And I love my boys to death, and we love going to games, and that's really important to me.
So how many children is it you got? You got two?
And a little girl. So happy days. She's turning into a Liverpool fan too.
Yeah.
So happy days. She'll be next. She's next to go to Anfield.
Cool. Excellent. So you're going to come back to Ipswich when this is all over with the coronavirus?
I hope so, mate. Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be lovely. Again, this 20th anniversary thing was cropping up. Maddie's been torturing me, and we're hopefully, once this is settled, I really look forward to going back. I haven't been back, and I would like to go back. And I would like to sit there as a fan and just watch the game. That would be great. And then enjoy a few pints with the punters afterwards, and just enjoy it. It's time to enjoy it, and without having the stresses and the strains of managing it and being there, but just enjoying the whole occasion. And I look forward to it.
Listen, Jim, it's been an absolute pleasure talking.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great.
Well, there you have it. The exclusive with Jim Magilton. And to be honest, in my opinion, Jim is a leader. Throughout his entire career, he's done things, and especially at Ipswich Town. I mean, he did carry Ipswich into that playoff final without a shadow of a doubt. And for many years after that, captained the side that I grew up watching, definitely, and admired. And what a player he was for this club. Undoubtedly one of the best players we've ever had, and a legend in most fans' eyes. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. That was brought to you by Mark Tuxford. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the channel. This is just a platform in which he can get that interview across. It was a brilliant interview. I enjoyed every second of it. So make sure you give Mark a follow. Follow his reporting. Obviously, he is a local reporter, so all his details are below. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter and Instagram, and just share the love where need be. We may be bringing you a 12th Man episode in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, come on you Blues.